Hey there, Dr. Rodney White with week 7 of How to Fuel Your Body. Today we're going to talk about protein. This is one of the most misunderstood macronutrients with the body in terms of the common myths and misconceptions out there. Protein is absolutely essential for the building blocks of our body, but too much protein is actually just as dangerous to our cells as too much carbohydrates and sugars. You see, the amino acids that are in protein, if we have too many of those, they're the number one stimulator of a certain pathway in the body that when this pathway is stimulated, our cells don't work as well in the system that eats up all the debris and cleans up all the damage. And as you've heard me say before, damaged cells leads to cancers and other problems. So we want that pathway to actually be turned off or inhibited, because when it is, our body then sends in all the troops to clean up any damage. Basically, it's like saying there's no more food coming in, you get to go in there and clean up the area. So too much protein will inhibit that process, and we don't want that to happen. In a few weeks' time, we're going to discuss how to work out exactly how much protein you should be having. And then when we hit those numbers, just know that when you're doing a lot more physical activity than most people, either you exercise a lot, lift a lot of weights, those times you want to increase your protein by about 25% more than the normal numbers. But we'll get to that in a few weeks. Today, let's focus on what proteins are good for you. So one of the best things about healthy protein is it often comes packaged with high fat, and we want high fat. We love high fat. So drop this myth of lean meats, low-fat dairy, or anything like that. Anytime you're getting protein, we want it to be as fatty as possible as long as it's the good fats. So when it comes to meat, look for the American Grass-Fed Association tag on it, because if your meat has been grass-fed, we know it's going to be high in protein, high in good fats, and zero of the antibiotics, growth hormones, corn, and all the other inflammation that we get from those kind of meats and poultry. Things like chicken, you want to get skin on, thighs are better than breast, but again, don't go for the low fat things. You want more fat than protein, and if it's a good quality protein and a good quality fat, that is absolutely ideal. We get a lot of protein from dairy too, but it's got to be the right dairy. As organic or high fat as possible cheeses, Parmesan cheese, cheddar cheese, brie cheese are all great. Grass-fed butter or ghee is really, really good. Depending on the quality of yogurt, some of those can be okay, but what you want to avoid is the high protein, low fat things. Milk is one of those. Okay, so you can see where you've been often pushed in the wrong direction here. Fat and protein together are what we want, and I can't preach that enough. Another place we get a lot of protein combined with fat is our seafood. Seafood, like meat though, is one where you have to be careful of what you're buying. Farmed seafood, farmed salmon and the other fish, they get pumped full of antibiotics and growth hormone to fatten them up faster and get them ready for consumption. Plus, in these small areas, they don't do a lot of swimming, so they don't get a lot of oxygenation into their muscles, so we don't get the good quality of flesh. Alaskan salmon, it's illegal for that to be farmed, so anytime you see that, you know that it's going to be wild caught. That's by far the best thing to get. And other than just wild caught, we also want to make sure that these things aren't going to be full of mercury, because the bigger a fish is in the food chain, the more other fish it eats. And so there's already a little bit of mercury in the ocean that all fish are picking up, but the more fish they themselves eat, the more they have. So other than wild caught Alaskan salmon, you also want to go for the small end of the food chain, not always the tastiest guys, sardines, anchovies, things like that, herring. Of course, then you want to make sure that you're buying them in glass jars and not the BPA aluminum leaching cans that they can be in. That's a whole nother problem as well. And you really want to avoid the big guys, the mahi-mahi, the ocean tunas, all of these big swordfish. They're so full of mercury, and mercury is a huge neurotoxin, and it will completely mess with your brain and nervous system. So hopefully this gives you a little bit better understanding of protein. We're going to revisit in a few weeks so that you know exactly how much you should be getting every day. But for now, keep sharing this content. Let's get more people joining us on this journey. And by the end of it, hopefully everyone's living a healthier lifestyle. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you'd like us to present on any of these kind of topics or anything to do with health or back pain or anything like that. Other than that, have a great week.